Okay, I'm going to hit record here. Okay, so this concept for what we're going to talk about tonight, strangely enough, it's Jetty's concept. And I'm going to give you my spin on this concept, and then he'll probably come in and correct me. You ready for this? He'll probably say, that's not what I was talking about. But that's all good. You'll get to hear two sides of this idea. And it's something actually that it's always heavy on my heart. I just never had thought of it in the same light that he does. He said it's like Plexus is this island. Okay, just follow me here. Like Plexus is this island that all of us live on it. Okay, and we're all happy here, and there's plenty of room for anybody to come over. You know, anybody could come join us on this crazy island. And once we're over here, and once we sort of figure out how things work, if we're not careful, we can lose sight of what things used to be like. It's kind of like we drank the Kool-Aid. Does that make sense? You know, you're like, oh yeah, they drank the Kool-Aid. Now she talking crazy. Now she talking about stuff that's like, she crazy. Does she think people really believe that stuff cure everything? That cure everything? Okay. And so what I want to extend out to you guys tonight is an invitation to look back and remember what it was like before you drank the Kool-Aid. Okay. And not just for the purpose of for your own self, but because it's our job as reps for this company to basically, here, I forgot to mute everybody. Hang on one second. Y'all are being really, really quiet. I forgot to mute you. Okay. It's our job as Plexus reps to be a bridge for anybody who wants to come over. It's like we're the bridge. We, here, the drawbridge, we extend down, we say, hey, come on over. Life is pretty cool over here where we're drinking the Kool-Aid. But the thing we have to keep in mind is until someone is at that point, or until someone makes the decision that they want to make a change of some sort, if it's for their health, if it has to do with weight, if it has to do with their income, whatever it is, they're probably still looking at the world. If they were like me, they're still looking at the world through depression-colored glasses. And that's all they can see, and it's like this. It doesn't really look like what it looks like to us once we don't have those glasses on anymore. And it's a filter that makes you not really care if you get off the couch. You're like, you want to care, but you don't care. You want to care, but you can't seem to make yourself do what it takes to make the changes. And you want to go outside and hang around with your kids, but it's hot and you're overweight. And you want to join in with things with your family. You want to grow a garden, for example. Okay, this is a prime example. You want to grow a garden, but you can't stand the thought of growing a garden. Like you want to do these things because, like, I don't know if any of you guys pay any attention to Brene Brown. I follow her stuff because she's fantastic. But she says if how-to fixed people, the world would be fixed because we all know how to. We all know how to get healthy. We all know how to change our diet. We know how to exercise. I mean, there's enough info on the internet. We know what to do. We know what to lift. We know what to push ourselves away from the table. We know all these things. And how-to doesn't fix people. People have to be inspired to make a change. And in my opinion, now this is where I'm going to get into your business here. But in my opinion, it's difficult to get people to relate to you if they think that you drank the Kool-Aid. If they think that you've been brainwashed by some scheme, or if you've been brainwashed by some particular product line, and if you're basically out there stating that, oh yeah, that'll fix your toe, that'll fix your hair too. Don't forget your eyebrows, man. That'll fix your eyebrows. I mean, we sound crazy, and we need to remember that we sound crazy because we've figured out that it fixes your immune system, and then your immune system fixes everything else. But if you can't connect those dots for people in a way that's meaningful in their brain, they just think you're crazy. And so what I want you to remember, this is the part that gets into your business. What I want you to remember when you're posting on Facebook when you're talking to people face to face, just for a minute, put your glasses back on and remember that, for example, me, if somebody had told me, yeah, one of these days you're going to be so flipped out on this stuff that you're literally going to go dig a hole in the ground and put seeds in it. And you're literally going to only drink water. I mean, that was far-fetched for me. I was like, if somebody had said, you need to only drink water, I'd have said, that's for you. That's never going to be for me. So while we do know that that stuff is all key and instrumental to getting well, the truth is telling someone that who's still looking through glasses like this, they don't want to hear that. They already know they need to drink water. And it feels like preaching. They already know that they need to make these changes. And the fact is, the lucky, fortunate fact is that our products are good enough that they'll see some changes without doing anything. Usually this is the first change that happens. The clouds part. They're like, okay, I see now what I'm doing to myself. I mean, for the love of goodness, I knew what I was doing to my kids, constantly feeding them junk and drinking pop. And that was the kind of the role model that I was for them. And it was like, I felt like I had to do something for me every day. And if me meant going to the Sonic to get my Diet Dr. Pepper with cherry and vanilla, which makes a whole lot of sense. If that thing for me, it didn't make sense, but I made it made sense because I would rationalize it in my mind. I would justify the money. I would justify the time spent to go do it because, I mean, after all, I have to recharge my batteries too. I'm a mom. I mean, all I do every day is for my kids. All I do, okay? And I know you guys can relate to what I'm saying because you've probably been, maybe not exactly there, but you've been somewhere like there. And if suddenly you jump in, you drink the Kool-Aid, and then you forget what it's like, then it's hard for you to be that bridge for people. And so here's what I really want to say is, if your Facebook page and any other way that you publicly share your life with people represents someone who's never been there, and it's easy to get that way. It's easy to start posting articles about gut health, and it's easy to start talking about things that are, like, you really may get off on the really straight and narrow where you're all like, fitness 24/7, organic, you know, and it's very difficult. Even though it's right, we know, we get it. It's difficult for people to relate. And also, while we're on the Facebook topic, I can't get up in your Facebook business. Your Facebook is yours. But since my job is to teach you how for your business to go better, I can give advice and you can take it or not, because really this is going to get in your business. Not anybody who's particularly on this call or not, because to be honest with you, I'm actually going through names right now to see who else on here. To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of time to literally comb through your Facebook posts and all this stuff. So it's not really about anybody in particular. It's about what I see that turns me off. Aside from posting Plexus ads all day, that turns me off in and of itself. There's a different way to do that. We've been talking about that in that other group. There's ways to go about that. But let's put all of that aside. Let's put the Plexus stuff aside for a second. And let's talk about a great way to turn off half your demographic immediately. Let's talk politics. Whoa! Let's be strongly opinionated for the red team or the blue team, and let's cut off the whole entire red team. They don't want to listen to you anymore. They don't believe in you. They don't really like you because you're so opinionated about your stuff. And I'm not telling you not to do this, because if you feel strongly drawn to represent the blue team and you think that's what you're called to do and you want to represent it on your social media, then I won't stop you. So this is my 2 cents for what I see Like if I see somebody strongly opinionated so much that they're blaspheming the other side, it doesn't matter what the topic is. And even if I agree with the person, truthfully, even if I agree with the person, it can turn my stomach so bad that I think, God, that's pretty disgusting that they're so righteous or that they're so whatever about, let's say, for example, really politics is one that I see a lot, especially now. I mean, look at our country. I mean, it really doesn't matter what team you're rooting for. You're on a crap team these days. I mean, it's kind of like, really? You're going to root for that? I mean, because all of it's sort of embarrassing. And so to me, when I see somebody really even rooting for a team that I agree with, I'm like, that's sort of an embarrassment though still, right? I mean, that's an embarrassment. And so here's what I can say about all that. If you have really strong opinions and you feel that if it outweighs what you want to do with your Plexus business, then really, honestly, I'm not going to stop you anyway. But since these calls are trying to help you guys reach a further demographic, and I know so many of you who join these calls, you're so about this business because you see what the products do for people's lives and all of these things, that you really want this kind of feedback, even though it's very difficult for me to give feedback that sounds critical. Like, I don't like to say anything that sounds critical to people. Dilly, you're laughing at me. I don't like to say things that make people think I'm criticizing them. And actually, the truth is, this is probably just for you guys to hand down in the future anyway, because most of you that get on this video chat and participate in this stuff, you've pretty much cleaned up your Facebook feed. You pretty much are not using swear words when you're trying to actually represent a company at the same time, on your page anyway. I know some of you. And you probably clean things up to where that's not really so much an issue for you anyway. But mostly, there was a point in time when there were a lot of strong opinions about, I wish the Plexus website had a lot of information about fitness and how you're supposed to eat. This is stuff I've heard people say. In fact, I hear that a lot. I wish the Plexus website encouraged this, and I wish the Plexus website encouraged that. And while I get where they're coming from, this is just my opinion. And you guys, I know I record this stuff, so the whole world's going to see it, and they're going to get to have their own criticism of me for saying this. But the fact is, if you lead with the hard changes, people just stay on the couch. I mean, this has to happen first. They got to take the depression glasses off and go, oh my God, what am I doing to myself? I'm making terrible choices for my life. I'm being a terrible example for my kids. And that happens before you make the hard changes on these products. At least it does for the majority of people that I have had contact with. And I'm eternally, hugely grateful that when I went to sign up, that the crappy website that I signed up on, because girls and boys, it was so crappy. I went in there, type in, and the website was like plexusslim.com, and it just basically had look like stickers, and you could click a sticker, and it really took you nowhere, and there was no pretty graphics anywhere. It looked like a beginner blog almost. It was like really awful. And I'm just really grateful that it didn't have a 30-day eating plan. I'm being honest, because for me, at the place I was in my life, I already knew how to do that. Like, you can find that anywhere. It's on every internet search engine, how to eat to lose weight, how to eat to whatever, how to eat to want to kill yourself, basically. I mean, like, that's how I felt at the time. I was like, I don't want to know how to eliminate carbs when carbs are the only thing that make me happy every day. Okay? I know that's bad. I'm just really confessing here. So I'm so grateful that nobody led with that. Nobody recruited me. I'm grateful for that, because now I look back and I think of all the ways that somebody could have messed up recruiting me. Somebody could have been like, and then on day 7, you need to get you one of those treadmills. And then on day 45, you're gonna start posting on Facebook every single day. And I'd have been like, oh, I don't think so. That ain't ever gonna happen. Ain't no way I'm gonna ever. So I'm mostly reminding you guys, while you are representing the company, while you are posting on Facebook, while you are talking to people in the grocery line, to always remember to look back and remember, okay, this person may not, clearly they haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet, and they may not be to a place yet that they're ready to make drastic changes in their life and do what it takes, the how-to get their life on track, because maybe they need to take the glasses off first. Now, Jetty, before I go any further with this conversation, you weigh in if there's anything you want to add. I'm good?
Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah.
He's being smart. It's our anniversary. Hang on a minute.
Yes, I guess it's been 17 years. Has it been 17 long years?
It's been 17 years since the day we
met.
We met in high school. We didn't really know each other.
Oh,
but then we met again
the day we met. The day we met.
Yeah, the day we met. Yeah. So this is not when we got married. We got married 4 short months after. True, baby? True. So, okay, let me see what time we're at. Okay, so I'm going to take the rest of this time to talk about, really briefly, I joined Periscope this week. I don't know if any of you have ever done that. That's it's brand new. I've done this twice on Periscope. If you're not on that, it's an app. If you see me posting on Facebook about it, you can go get the app if you want to. It's not anything that you have to do, but it's live video feed, broadcasting, anytime you want to get on there. Literally, I guess I see everything. Literally, like my dog's splashing in the mud, and so I'm broadcasting it kind of stuff. And so anyway, could be an interesting, cool, new social media platform. I joined it because a bunch of other jewels have joined it, and I just wanted to see what would happen. And because it sounded like fun. That's something new that's been going on this week. This past weekend, I was on my girls' trip, and we had a lot of fun. Talked some Plexus with some people. Some of you may know this. I walked into a Pandora shop. I was shopping with, hang on, I want to see if she's on here before I go talking about her, as if she can't get on here and watch this video later, but it's easier to talk about her if she isn't listening right now live. Okay, yeah, so I was on the girls trip with a girl, my best friend and a mutual friend of ours, who is she calls herself a name brand snob, I think is what she said, like brand snob or something like this. And so we're going into all these shops where I'm like, I don't even know what this stuff is. Like, I literally, now I've heard of Pandora, so that I wasn't that goofy. I did know what that was. Not that you're goofy if you haven't heard of it, but I did know what that was. And anyway, we go from one store to the other, and I'm like, I don't even know how to pronounce some of this stuff, but whatever. I'm having a good time. At the Pandora store, there is this beautiful, young, I'd say maybe 27 at the oldest, girl, thin, blonde, and beautiful, working the counter, talking to us about the different charms. And I'm basically adding up what it would cost to make an entire Pandora bracelet with all the rank advancements. And while we're talking about it, she says, how many of you, I said, basically, do you do discounts on these charms? Like if I bought more than 6 of a particular charm? She's like, what is this for? So we start talking to her, and I was trying to explain to her what it is. And what comes out of my mouth is, have you ever heard of Plexus? And she says, no. So, well, it's a company that I represent I was trying to incorporate why I want the charms without sounding like a goofball. So I said, and so we have teams of people, you know, people can join my team and earn these charms, but basically we just have supplements that are good for all kinds of things. And here, non-compliant, I'm fixing to be non-compliant, so y'all don't tattle on me. And I said, you know, for stuff like asthma, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, food allergies. These are the 4 things that come out of my mouth. And this young, seemingly healthy, looked extremely aerobically fit girl says, I have 3 of those things that you just mentioned. I had only mentioned 4. Crohn's disease, asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, and food allergies. I didn't ask her which. Oh, she said, I don't have Crohn's disease. She had the other 3. 27-something years old, and she has rheumatoid arthritis. Now, that may sound a little crazy to you, but that's only crazy to you if you don't live in the same town with a rogue rheumatologist. Because if you have a rogue rheumatologist in your town and you ache at any part of your body and you go in to see what your levels are, you will be diagnosed with having it or borderline having it. Then they put you on steroids. And then if you didn't have it, you will have something shortly because you shut your immune system off. So when she's so young, and like my friend that was with me, my best friend, she's an ambassador, and we were talking about that later. She's like, that girl had rheumatoid arthritis. And I thought to myself, maybe, I mean, seriously, maybe she did. Maybe the truth is, though, maybe Kansas City is just a place that has a rogue rheumatologist, like a lot of other places that have realized that they can get you in a cycle. And basically, if you're borderline that, if you come back, you'll either have that or fibromyalgia or something, because basically your body can't work properly on steroids, and you will have an autoimmune disorder of some sort, if not a life-threatening disease, if you stay on steroids. Now, every time I start talking about this, invariably, now maybe not since most of you have drank the Kool-Aid, but usually if I talk about this in open forum, you know, maybe post something about steroids on my page, invariably I'm going to have somebody say, you don't even know, I have to have those steroids or this and this and this and this and this happens. I cannot speak to that. I have no idea. All I know is that steroid equals immunosuppressant, which equals turn the immune system off, which equals the immune system's all I ever had to begin with. That's all I had. I was born with an immune system. It's the only way I stay well. And if I don't have it anymore, I don't know what you expect. And so basically it's a gamble. If you go to the rheumatologist, if you go to the doctor for your asthma, if you go to the doctor for your, all of those are steroids. And I don't know why I got off on this topic, but it's a passion of mine. That's why I got on this topic. And it drives me crazy to think that there are 20-somethings out there getting diagnosed with borderline something that they may not even have, and then being sent home to take, some of them, chemotherapy. I mean, they treat rheumatoid arthritis with methotrexate, which is like a form of chemotherapy. And hang on, I'm browsing again to see who else has joined us. Not that it matters, but yeah. I hate to get anybody stirred up, and I don't want anybody to quit taking something that their doctor has put them on. That'd be the last thing that I'd want. I just mostly want people to really educate themselves about what the medicine that they are on is designed to do. It's not designed to get you well, and the doctor won't even tell you that it is designed to get you well. They will tell you, if you will ask them the question, is this designed to turn my immune system off? And they'll say, well, it is an immunosuppressant. That's what it's for. And that just scares the bejesus out of me that so many people even have little bitty kids on immunosuppressants. And they don't, what scares me is not so much that they have them on that stuff. It scares me that they have them on it and don't realize what it is. If they know what it is and they made a conscious decision, that's one thing. But having kids on steroids who don't realize what immunosuppressant means, that scares me a lot. Okay. We're toward the end of our evening. Jetty, is there anything else you wanted to add? I can't see you again. Oh, there you go. No?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You did well.
For all of you who ordered sample packs last week or thought about it or are going to order sample packs last week, I would love for you guys to stick some samples in the mail. Maybe even, I do this from time to time, and I don't know why I don't do it more often, because every time I do it, it works. I will post something on Facebook that basically says, if someone's if someone is interested in trying Plexus and you think you would be interested in a sample, please message me and tell me why you want to try it. That sort of eliminates a lot of people who are just wanting something for free. And if they message you and say why they tried it, you can then do a drawing and pick 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever, and send them a nice little note in the mail with it. You could even just send a couple of sticks of the Slim if you wanted to. But it gives you a good reason to follow up with them later, talk to them about the products. It's a great way to mostly just open the conversation. We know what it's like over here on the island. You guys know I'm just being in a metaphorical, state tonight, but we know what it's like over here, but they don't. And until they've really had a chance to try the product, some people just are too, I don't know. I can't imagine if it hadn't been for the fact that I was wanting to lose weight so bad, I probably would have never tried these products. I'm actually glad that there's a market in it for weight loss, so that I was goofy enough to be like, yeah, because I was the person that would have taken anything to lose weight. I didn't care if it's safe for me or not. At that time in my life, that's not what mattered to me. It's what matters to me most now, but I didn't care because I was looking through those glasses. So,
another thing about I'll say something. Another thing about samples, you guys will see a guy named David Pettit. We went to high school together. See him waving. We've always taught never to give samples away unless you feel led to do it. Mm-hmm. Most of the time when you give a sample to somebody, it'll roll around in the floorboard of the vehicle. But with David and I have been friends for over 20 years. So we've known each other. And I felt led to send him some stuff. And I sent him more than just 1 3-day. I sent him a few things because I knew he had been having problems. I think you broke your collarbone, David. Yeah, he broke his collarbone. He's a teacher, so he's off for the summer. And sent him some stuff, sent him some, fast relief cream or ease cream. And within a couple of days, he was like, hey, or actually that same day he got the ease cream, he's like 30 minutes. He's like, man, he said that tension, he had tension up through his neck and was giving him a headache on one side of his head. And he said 30 minutes, he said it was almost gone. So there are instances that you can, give people samples, just like David. David signed up today. He literally signed up an hour before this Zoom, and I tagged him in a link and said, hop on if you can. So I'm really excited that he did get on. So, but I was just using him as an example that I know we preach because most of the time people won't take it for what it is if you just hand it to them. They think it's free to you, and we all know it's not free to us. We have to buy the samples, to get to people. So just use your judgment, discernment, but I wanted to say how good of an example that was.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's here. So.
Yeah, I will say that the few times that I've done that, same like Jetty, in the beginning I gave it away and wasn't thinking about it, and I did some really silly stuff because I would get back with people in 10 days and they hadn't taken it yet. But then sometimes once I quit doing that and started only doing it, like he said, with discernment, those have been some of the smartest things I've ever done. So, don't limit yourself in that way. And
another thing I never really led with the business on Dave, but Dave came to me and said, hey, I think if this will work for you, if this has worked for you and I've seen it, I need that. He said, I need something like that in my life. So he came to me with that. So. Yeah.
So, okay, well, I'm going to close this with prayer really quick, if that's okay with you guys. And then if you guys have any questions afterward, I'll stop the recording and we can do that. Feel free. And if anybody needs to go, you can go at that point too. So anyway, Lord, I just come to you tonight, so grateful Grateful for open hearts and just the best kind of people on this team. My favorite kind of people, the ones that want to help other people. And that just, I couldn't be more grateful. I just lift up any concerns tonight, Lord, that anybody that's on this call has. I know that the concerns can be so great and really weigh your heart down, Lord, and I just ask that they just learn to lay them down at your feet. I pray over every family represented here, little kids in our houses and our marriages. I pray over our health and that any attack from the enemy, Lord, that it would just be stunted and completely stopped. And I pray that we know the power that we have in you because you live inside us. I'm grateful for my husband. I've been thinking about that all day. I'm grateful for the relationships that I have on this team. That is actually something I needed as much as I needed anything else, is just great people in my life. And I have been richly blessed. And I'm so overwhelmed by it. Thank you for my team. Thank you for all the people that are still yet to be led to this team. And I just ask that you just break down barriers and walls, whatever may be in the way, the brainwash that people suffer from, Lord, that you would go before us and break those barriers down so that everybody can come over here and live on this island. If anybody has a concern tonight that that's weighing their heart down so heavy, I lift that up to you. And I pray that they lay it at your feet. And that you just shine your mercy and grace out on that situation, whatever it is. And I guess that's it. Just thank you so much. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay.